Yep, to the yep. You already know what time it is, man. It's your girl P.O.C. We live right now each and every Friday starting at 10 a.m. You got to get up anyway. So why not get it with me, man? Here on 900 AM WRD 96.1 Eco WURD. We are reviving your airways, giving you that environmental justice news that's for you and about you here in the city of Philadelphia, man. And you already know I got a jam-packed show every Friday, but we kicking it off the right way. I have two amazing special guests on the line with me today because they're making sure they're using their impact, that social impact, in the right way, and they're doing it for the hunting park section of the city. And I got Linnea and Charles on the line with me. Good morning, Charles. I'm gonna start with you because I heard you the real MVP. When it comes
Good
down to the
morning.
work that you're doing.
Good morning. It's all about teamwork. It's always all about teamwork, collaboration, and partnerships. That's how we do. That's how we operate. Thank you for having me.
No doubt. And Charles, when we talk about the work that you're doing, can you give us a brief overview? Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay, Charles Lanier, and I'm the executive director of the Hunting Park Community Revitalization Corporation. Let me say that again, Hunting Park Community Revitalization Corporation. We're also what we call a neighborhood advisory committee, and we're also a neighborhood energy center.
Awesome.
And all of that means is that we do housing services programs, housing related services programs, energy conservation, energy efficiency, energy workshops. We do grants for people who are in need of help with their utility bills, gas, electric, and water. As well, we do our mortgage diversion program where we go out to people to assist people who are falling behind or is facing foreclosure in a housing situation. But more importantly, right now, we are focused on electrification. We are focused on how do we continue to outreach, how do we engage our community around the transition to electrification, to electric appliances, electric, I'm not going to say cars, but I'm saying how do we make that transition as it relates to housing? Okay, we have been talking about this for over maybe a couple of years now, and we know that it's going to happen. We know
Yeah.
that we know that due to climate change and fossil fuels and so forth, that this is very much needed in order to save our planet. And so we have programs such as we call Built to Last, which helps to, excuse me, which helps to address deferred maintenance, but also gives homeowners an opportunity to look at solar energy as a possibility to conserve energy. That meaning rooftop solar panels, heat pumps that provide heat in the winter and cooling in the summer. Okay, in addition to electric appliances as well to help save the planet, help us reduce our energy costs, reduce that energy burden. So that's how we came up with the idea that we need to continue to do our outreach and community engagement, but do it in such a manner that we can bring it to the people visually. I'm very visual, you know, and by doing that visually, we can show people how to address deferred maintenance through a program like Built to Last, how we can look at solar energy as a way to reduce our energy costs, and heat pumps to reduce our energy costs as well, electrical
People
appliances.
I was about to say, Charles, people are definitely looking to reduce their costs right now. It's going to be a cold winter, and PGW going to come up off a lot of folks this winter for sure with that gas bill. But I want to get Linnea in the conversation as well to
Sure,
introduce
question.
herself. Because Linnea has done a lot of work on this program as well. So Linnea, when it comes down to just everything that's happening about what Charles just talked about, tell us a little bit about your involvement and how did you get involved?
Yeah, so right now I work for Physicians for Social Responsibility Pennsylvania. It's an organization that works on issues that affect people's health that can't be treated. So preventing those issues, climate change being one of those major things. So when I first moved to Philly, I actually had just come from studying theater in grad school. Like I always cared about social justice issues, but I was like, what environment to me wasn't really about people until I moved to Philadelphia and actually one of the events I went to was sponsored by Eco WURD, and I'm not kidding. I went to this panel and like learned all about especially issues happening in Philadelphia
Awesome.
and thinking about the solar initiative was there, and so were some folks talking about zero waste, and so the panel of speakers just like totally educated me, and I was like, this is about our environment, but we are our environment. People are our environment. Like it's 100% a social justice issue. So I started volunteering, and then I started working for PSRPA. And I met Charles soon after starting to work for PSRPA because he was doing a lot of leadership. Basically, the conversation is like, so often these conversations happen, and the people who are most vulnerable, who are most impacted by climate change, are not necessarily like given access. Like they're like often explicitly barred from these conversations, or like not considered first. So Charles is all about ensuring that our most vulnerable residents in Philadelphia are at the center of conversations around environmental justice. And so we were talking, he always says education, education, education. That is a big Charles quote. So we were sort of talking about how can we like help people understand what they can do and what's available to them, participate in conversations around environmental justice. And we were talking to someone from Philadelphia Energy Authority, which is run out of City Hall. It's a Philadelphia government organization, and they run this pilot program called the Built to Last program, which as it was put to me, a lot of people might apply for or qualify for weatherization on their homes or things like that, but because they have maybe a leaky roof, they actually are disqualified. So they can't get money to fix one thing because they have another problem. And this program tries to bring together, it's an administrative program that tries to bring together those grants basically. And so low income and mixed income people can get help repairing their homes. And also in that process, like built in is getting electrifying appliances that would otherwise be run by fossil fuels and trying to get solar on people's houses to get down on energy burden. So you're reducing the amount of use and the leak of the house, and you're also ensuring that people are able to pay their bills like over time, long term. It's an amazing program.
It is an amazing program, and people can actually watch and sit down and watch and get to know a little bit more about the programs and the stories that were told about people who invested into the program. So it's going down next week, Wednesday, November 15th at 6:30 p.m. So when we talk about the event next week, Charles, walk us a little bit through that and how people can find more information.
Well, okay. We have been putting out information, inviting residents, inviting stakeholders, inviting our partners to this event. What is important about this event that, as Linnea just echoed, is that how do we address deferred maintenance and also incorporate electrification? Mm-hmm. And that is what Built to Last is about. Okay. And on November the 15th, we're going to premiere a documentary of 6 residents who have gone through the experience of Built to Last. Hunting Park, we are an intake site. This started out as a pilot program with about 10 residents to see if we can do the education as well as make it affordable for people to take advantage of the program Built to Last. And through partnerships with Linnea and the Sierra Club and Here for Climate Justice, we said, okay, let's do a film. Let's do the documentary. Let's select 6 residents who have gone through this experience of being awarded the services of Built to Last, and at no cost to them. This program funded by the City of Philadelphia, funded by a collaboration of other programs in the City of Philadelphia. Built to Last, Basic Systems Repair, Weatherization Program, senior housing programs, all of the programs that are out there to help people to not only address deferred maintenance, but also combining these resources, these funding resources to say, hey, let's combine our resources and go out and do housing in Philadelphia that is in need of deferred maintenance and also expose them to electrification.
And
As you
Charles, I
know,
want to ask you one question too. As you know, as I'm listening to you talk, and I see everything that's going on for Built to Last, right? And we talk about gentrification, right? And the biggest thing about gentrification is that we don't want people to be pushed out of their homes, right? So we look, and I'm looking at the 6 women that you interviewed for the documentary, and it's giving me
Who
nothing
are
but the
the
4.
coolest. They're like
Cool.
the coolest ladies. So fun to talk to.
Yeah, and it's just giving me that that idea, that implication of like, don't push grandma out of her house, don't push our aunties out of our house, right? So it's like when we have these conversations, what emotion, as a Black man in general, like, did you feel from listening to these stories as they're talking about their deferred maintenance and they're talking about the struggles that they have to go through to even keep their houses?
yeah, I'm getting emotional now. What we experienced was like, I don't even know what we were expecting. But these women, and we, as you know, the housing stock in the city of Philadelphia is old housing stock. People
Yes.
are in neighborhoods, and as you said, gentrification, where they're going to go, and so we're looking at these women who've been in homeowners for 40, 50 years, raised their families, generations, in the same house. And like anybody else, over the years, we know that we're going to have to need our house, or the house is going to need some type of maintenance, some type of repair, wear and tear, over the years. And that's why it becomes a question of affordability. Not only just affordability, but when you do get some money that you can afford to fix up your property, can you trust the contractors to come in and do the necessary work? Because some of our residents are being scammed by contractors who don't fully, I don't know whether out of respect, whatever, but do not do proper work or proper finishing work. And the homeowner ends up basically with the same issue, same problem a few months later, a few years later. So when we went into these homes and we selected these ladies, and we were preparing them, like, don't be nervous, we're going to ask you a few questions. They ran with it. I mean, they ran with it. They talked about the history of how long they've been living in the property. They talked about raising their children in the property, their grandchildren, and so forth. And many of them were block captains and their commitment to the community, and they just told their story. And then they talked about how it was such a blessing to have a program like Built to Last come in to address the issues that were going on in their house. That it was such a blessing that they were able to look at rooftop solar paneling to reduce their energy burden by more than 50%, to understand how a heat pump works, and also receive appliances. We have one family, she got a new stove. She talked about her new electric stove, and she got new heat pumps and so forth. She talked about, and what as an added gift, they gave her new pots and pans for her new stove.
Oh yeah, they hooked her up.
So many other benefits from this program, and it talked about working with the contractors and so forth. And if they didn't get it right the first time, they come back to do the work to repair the house. So we want people to see this. We want people to know that this is a program that needs to be funded. We're in our second phase. Okay, they gave us another 20 properties, and we're in our second phase of properties that are being currently done right now. So we're hoping in the near future we'll get a third round of properties that we can do under this program. We're looking to how we can continue to combine these programs to help low-income people to address these issues. I'm going to let Linnea jump in here as well. Because
we love your passion, Charles. We got to keep more people like you around in the city, man, because we want to listen to you talk, because you actually have something to talk about. You're not just out here rambling. You're talking about something that needs to be talked about, and you're doing it with love, because everything you're talking about, you're saying it with a smile, because you have seen 6 families' lives change dramatically because of something that you truly believe in. So thank you for your passion, Charles. But you're right, Linnea, I want to get you back into this conversation. I want to ask you this question, with something like Built to Last, how do you see this actually contributing to the Philadelphia greener, safer idea when it comes down
Oh my God. I'm so glad you asked that. I mean, like, so I work a lot on not only building electrification, but on fossil fuels, right? And a lot of fossil fuels companies, and our gas company is municipally owned, right? It's owned by the city. But they don't act that way. They act like they're a private gas company. They protect gas interests. And you know, we know that we have to get rid of gas. Like gas is mostly methane. Methane is 80 times as potent in the short term as carbon dioxide. We talk a lot about carbon dioxide. Methane is a far more potent fossil fuel than that in terms of global warming. So we have to get rid of gas. We got to switch all of our gas appliances, our space heaters, our water heaters, our dryers, things like that. We got to switch them over to electric. So a program like this enables folks first to learn, but also who might not be able to afford that kind of transition to participate, to be involved in that transition, to have a safer, cleaner home. I mean, we should not have gas in our homes, right? Like gas is not like safe. So like every once in a while we hear about explosions happening, right? So, and it's far more likely in a home that if someone can't afford that kind of maintenance, you might not know what's happening. You might not know that gas is leaking into your home. You know, sometimes people have air quality issues, they don't know. So this kind of program enables people to have safer homes and also sustainable homes. You put a heat pump in, that's going to be the kind of energy you want to use going down the line. You don't want to be using gas in your home. You want to be using electric. And then if you put solar panels on top, like your bills drop, you know? So we're changing over homes to be more sustainable. And that's exactly what should happen. And, you know, it's like, you don't have to listen to me. Like the 6 ladies that we talked to, they know their stuff. Like they are absolutely, it's just amazing to listen to them because like Charles said, they're so engaging, and it is just like listening to your grandma or your aunt talking. But I learned so much from them, but also like they know their stuff, and they know that they now have cleaner homes, they have more sustainable homes, and there is so much hope. Like this, it's not a cheap process, but it's a needed process, and it's a possible process.
And I'm glad you said that because, you know, as we roll into this next administration here in the city of Philadelphia, Built to Last is something that was funded by the city, right? How can we keep more city funded projects like this going when it comes down to the benefit of homeowners?
You see, it's about what we prioritize. I mean, like when we say it's important to keep these to people who have these difficulties with their housing and can't afford it, it's a priority for us to keep them in their homes, then we can do it. It's what we prioritize because this pilot project shows it's possible, you know?
And Charles, I would love to get your answer on that. You know, as we roll into this next administration, this new administration, how do you see more funding being centered towards more, you know, home equity projects and more people who own their actual homes versus renter programs?
You know, this one of the
Philadelphia is becoming a city of renters. If you can look,
it is.
And
I mean,
if I could. Sorry, I'm going to hop in really quickly on that and say I live in a rented home, and I would love my landlord to replace my gas stove that has no hood and leaks noxious gases into my kitchen with an induction electric stove. But so like that, they have very low priority on doing that. So it's like definitely affects all kinds of folks.
At one time, Philadelphia was known for their home ownership. I mean, we had probably one of the highest rates of home ownership in the country. And as you just said, you're looking at rental units being, and I don't know where people are coming from because they're building these apartment complexes and these units like
overnight.
Overnight, they're popping up, and they're not affordable. Most of them are not affordable. As we continue to try to do affordable housing, and I'm all for housing. You know, that's my life. Housing programs, housing development, and so forth for low income people, but it's getting less and less affordable. But you know, when we look at programs like Built to Last, we have to say to our stakeholders, we have a new administration coming in. That's one of the purposes of this film. You know, we're inviting not only residents and people, community people, but we're inviting politicians, we're inviting council people, we're inviting state reps, we're inviting them to come in because they control the budget, and they have to see the necessity of programs like Built to Last. The state recently approved or put money on the street through a program called Whole Home Repair, which is very similar to Built to Last.
Shout out
And
for Senator Saval who pushed that program
yes,
through. Thank you.
yes, Senator Saval. Thank you, Senator Saval. But he spearheaded this, and so, but we have to continue to fund these types of programs. Whole home repair allows not only homeowners, but allows landlords, small landlords, to address their deferred maintenance issues as well.
Yeah.
So this has to be something that's going to be in the forefront of our leaders. I mean, if we're going to change the face of Philadelphia, not through gentrification, we need to change the way that we look at how to keep people in their homes. As you said, grandmothers in their homes. How do we keep people who, when grandmother passes away and there's a title issue and the property is not in their name, how do we address those issues so that person can live in that house?
Yeah.
So that they can be eligible for programs like Built to Last or Whole Home Repair. All those issues lead to sustainability of housing in the city of Philadelphia. You mentioned that you said I'm passionate. Yes, I'm very, very, very passionate about housing, community development, community economic development. I'm very passionate about trash being thrown in the street. I think that's
We got similar passions, Mr. Charles. We got similar
I
passions.
don't get that. I will never understand that. But it's respect, not only respect for yourself, but respect for property values. If we can get that message across that you not only respect yourself, but you respect your neighbors, you respect property values. And in doing that, you can see the value in your property. Because you live in a certain neighborhood doesn't mean that you have to throw trash in the street. It doesn't mean that you have to destroy property values because you live in a certain neighborhood, or you think the property values are so low that it doesn't mean anything. You just walk away from property. All property has value.
That's right.
All property has value.
Even like what they're doing with the green spaces. They're taking our little plots next to homes that were vacant and turning those into green spaces. But I also feel like we should do, more than just green spaces.
Yes.
It has to be something that gives a little bit more engagement so we can get these kids and these youth off the street so they can have more things to do. But I want to just make sure we get back into the 15th, right? I want to highlight that so more people can be in person. Correct me if I'm saying it wrong. Is that the Esperanza Arts Center?
Yes.
Esperanza Arts Center, 4261 North 5th Street is going down November 15th, Wednesday, November 15th at 6:30 p.m. It's going to be a screening, and then it's going to be a panel discussion right after. So when it comes down to the panel discussion, what can people find as far as the information? I know, Linnea, you were talking about you went to an Eco WURD, fest, and you listened to the panel and it got you more involved. So what can people expect from this panel that's going down on next Wednesday?
I also, since you said all that, I want to also say that we have Spanish interpretation at the event, and we also have childcare. And there's going to be snacks.
Awesome. So I was thinking.
let's include all those things in there. The panel's going to have 2 ladies who we interviewed are going to be on the panel. We're going to have someone actually from Senator Saval's office, who created the whole home repair program. We're going to have Asargwe, and I'm totally blanking on her last name at this moment, but she works for Community Legal Services and is also part of Here for Climate Justice, housing equity, repair, and electrification for climate justice, and Alon Abramson from the Philadelphia Energy Authority office, who administers the Built to Last program. Those folks will all be there, and fingers crossed, Senator Street will be able to close up the event with Charles and hopefully Councilmember Lozada, who are both Honey Park is their area.
No doubt. And for those who are not able to make it in person, if they want to, watch the doc after you all air it, how can people find more information about just actually watching and getting more involved?
Absolutely. So we're hosting it. It's about 20 minutes. It's not even like a full, 90-minute documentary. It's a 20-minute documentary. And we have also a version with Spanish subtitles that's on the Physicians for Social Responsibility Pennsylvania's YouTube page. And we'll try to make sure that we post that link literally everywhere that it might be found.
Awesome. I'm with that. Thank you both for the work that you're doing. And Mr. Charles, before I let you go, do you have any last words for people who are, in a space where they need this program and they want to find more information about it? How can they get in contact with you?
They can contact our office. We're now taking people, putting them on a waiting list as we progress through this program. And our office number is 215-225-5560. 215-225-5560. If they want more information about Built to Last or all the other services and programs that we provide, they can call. We're busy right now because right now it's light heat seasons and people trying to get their electric bills paid, and gas bills, and so forth. But leave a detailed message.
Yes.
Leave a detailed message, and we definitely will get back to you and put your name on a waiting list if you're interested in Built to Last, as well as any other services that we may provide. We are community-based, boots on the ground, and we work with 20 other organizations very similar, NACs, neighborhood advisory committees, or community development corporations throughout the city of Philadelphia. Our energy centers, we have 16 energy centers throughout the city of Philadelphia.
Okay.
So we're working hard, we're working diligently, not only to educate as well as make it affordable, but we also want to come together as a group to form an alliance so that we can continue to spread this word, to get people involved, get people to understand that this transition is going to happen. You know, the country is saying, well, we want electrification to be in place by 2050. We're almost.
I was about to say that I don't even think it's gonna wait that long. It's gonna happen with or without us, regardless, man. But I appreciate you both for coming through this morning. Thank you for reviving the airways here on Eco WURD. Thank you for all the work that you're doing in the Hunting Park section of the city, man. More work needs to be done, and I look forward to connecting with you both sooner than later, man.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, P.O.C.
No doubt. I love your passion. We're about to go to a
Thank you.
quick commercial break. Right after this quick commercial break, you'll hear more from your girl P.O.C, man. Radio's up. We'll be back.
Thank you.
Thank you.